Hello everyone, Larry Satchwell here. In the kitchen today, it's cold and miserable outside. I can't do any woodworking. So I'm going to share with you one of my favorite Sunday morning breakfasts. Actually, it's more of a Sunday morning brunch. Dutch babies. I have a real ritual on the weekends. Saturday night, when I bring in the eggs, I leave 2 of the eggs out at room temperature overnight. When I get up the next morning, they're at room temperature. So the first thing I do is start the oven. I set it at 450 degrees Fahrenheit. Then I break my eggs into the bowl, my favorite bowl. I think we had this as a wedding present some 47 years ago. And then add a 1/4 cup of milk. I use 2 eggs to a 1/4 cup of milk. Then I go do my chores, go feed the horses and the goats, check on the chickens. And when I come back in, the milk is at room temperature as well. So some people say to do this in a blender. I've always done it with a whisk and never had any problems, but I like to whisk up these 2 ingredients first really well. I've made a great variety of these. I love to put apples on top, peaches, blueberries. And today I'm going to be using some of our frozen blueberries from last summer, and they're not a problem. So I've whisked that up a little bit, and I'm going to add, I love almond, so I'm going to add a pretty much full tablespoon of almond extract. And a little more whipping. I like these plain. You never know what you're going to get. Sometimes they proof really good, 99% of the time, and sometimes they just never do. Whatever you add, if you add a 1/4 cup of milk, you need to add an equal amount of flour. So I make this one in this little skillet we have. I'm not sure how big this is. On the bottom, it's 6 inches, and on the top, it's 8 inches. I'm not a cook, so I don't know how to tell you if it's a 6 or 8 inch skillet. Some people suggest using bread flour for this. I've always just used all-purpose flour and never had a problem with it. Once the flour's in the bowl, I mix it up a little bit. Then I need to get my skillet warm. So I always spray it with Pam on the bottom and the sides, and then add at least a tablespoon of butter. And I like to use this Smart Balance butter, the original. The healthy kind doesn't melt really well. You want to get this butter pretty hot, but not burnt. I found that it's not so much on how much you blend it, but that the ingredients are at room temperature. It won't poof very much if your ingredients aren't at room temperature. These berries I took out of the freezer yesterday afternoon, put them in the refrigerator overnight, and they thawed out, and I took those out of the refrigerator right before I went to do chores. So this is really mixed up nice and easy. Sometimes I've put the blueberries in here before I've put it in the pan, but it really works out better if you put the blueberries in after you've put the batter in the pan. So I'm going to clean this up and let the butter get hot. I'll be back with you in a minute. So the butter is sizzling hot. Time to add my batter. Now, I have seen recipes where people add sugar and add salt, but this is the basic recipe, and we don't use a lot of salt in our cooking, so I've never added any. If I were making the basic, at this point, I would shake on about 5 good shakes of nutmeg. I know if you're a purist, I should use a nutmeg, but we have always used ground. And this is probably 3/4 of a cup of blueberries. I love blueberries, so You can add as many or as little as you want. I really like apples and peaches on here. So now it's back into the oven for about 15, maybe 20 minutes. The oven's at 450. I'm going to leave it at 450 for about 5 minutes, and then I'll move it down to 425. This only looks good a few minutes after it's out of the oven. It's been about 18 minutes. And there it is. I'm going to add a little cinnamon sugar. The rest of the video are pictures of dust babies that I've made in the past. Thanks for watching. Man, that's hot. And delicious.